Venmo, Strava, and why they haven't been fined 20 million euros. My new book, An American's Guide to European Data Protection Law and the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, is available at Amazon and other fine retailers. GDPR Article 25 mandates data protection by default and by design. By design means that product managers should discuss the privacy and security of user data at every stage of the product development lifecycle. Technologies, such as pseudonymization, and principles, such as processing the least amount of data possible, should be considered and their consideration documented. By default means that the default settings process the minimum amount of data necessary to accomplish your product's specific purpose. GDPR Article 83.4 imposes fines up to $10 million on products that do not practice data protection by design or by default. Since the GDPR became effective, Facebook and Google have been sued for 7 billion euros. So, why haven't Venmo and Strava been fined at least 10 million euros each? Venmo describes itself on Google as a free digital wallet. A PayPal subsidiary, it allows people to request and send payments through their phones. In Q1 2018, it transferred $12 billion in payments. People have told me they'll Venmo me, forcing me to join the platform. Nobody has ever said that they would Square me or Zelle me. On the other hand, Venmo doesn't generate all that much revenue. Venmo's distinguishing characteristic is that it shoves the financial activity of people you might possibly know into your face in real time. To achieve this feat, it 1. Defaults the privacy setting to public upon install. This violates data protection by default. 2. Publishes incorrect instructions on how to make your activity private, allegedly. If true, this violates data protection by design, because well-designed data protection means you understand how your product works. 3. Hides the settings to make activity private behind a Byzantine process, again, allegedly. The Federal Trade Commission's lawyers took 5 pages to document this process. If true, this violates both data protection by design and default. Accomplishment number 2 and 3 may have been fixed following PayPal's recent settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. These accomplishments have had the following results. First, Venmo users may be data mined to discover their habits, such as how often they gamble, how much money they gamble away, and with whom. Second, Venmo users experience Venmo anxiety. Quote, seeing these transactions, even among people I have no desire to be hanging out with, creates a sense of emptiness and unease. It's like, shit, everybody is doing something on Thursday night, and I'm sitting and reading my book. Am I a loser? 3. Venmo was fined under the GDPR. Wait, it hasn't been. Why not? Well, if we do a Google search for Venmo and its requirements, the 2 main requirements for using Venmo are you must be physically located in the United States and you must have a US cell phone. Venmo has not been fined because the GDPR only applies to data controllers and processors operating in the European Economic Area or targeting people therein. This is a common mistake American companies made right before the GDPR became effective. They would publish statements such as, "This policy was updated to comply with the GDPR," or "Our data protection officer is Abradolf Linkler." Are you subjecting yourself to GDPR jurisdiction for no reason? Are you aware of the duties you owe to a data protection officer? These are matters that you should review with a competent expert in the area. Strava describes itself on Google as, quote, run and cycling tracking on the social network for athletes, end quote. It also publishes a heat map of aggregated, anonymous user activity. In the third world, Strava's heat map revealed secret locations such as CIA safe houses and missile batteries. Strava responded by, get this, refusing to take down its heat map and, according to one commentator, blaming its own users for not understanding its 7-step privacy protocol. That's a quote. Indeed, Strava's default privacy setting is still, quote, the basic level is to choose to not use any privacy controls and make your info available publicly, like it would be on Twitter, for example. End quote. To my knowledge, no one has been killed because they used Strava. One guy was arrested because he used Strava, but he had it coming. Nevertheless, Strava created problems similar to Venmo and, by leaking worldwide information, lacks Venmo's defense. So why hasn't it been fined? 3 potential reasons. First, Strava's heat map arguably implements data protection by design. Recall that pseudonymization is an approved way to achieve data protection by design under the GDPR. Arguably, Strava's heat map is better than pseudonymous, it's anonymous. While the heat map reveals state secrets, it arguably does not reveal individual user secrets, and that's what the GDPR cares about. Second, Strava arguably implements data protection by default. Unlike Venmo, which bills itself as a digital wallet, and wallets don't vomit your activity all over your social network, Strava actually calls itself a social network. So, to a certain extent, individual users arguably know they're going to vomit their activity all over Strava's network. And third, the fines may be coming. Indeed, Strava has been searching for a, quote, part-time data protection officer. As a product manager, these are the types of questions you should ask, research, and document as you fulfill your obligation of data protection by design and by default. It does not mean blindly adhering to the safest route of GDPR compliance, but it does not mean ignoring it either. It means making intelligent choices to maximize both compliance and market share. And if you are located in the European Union and interested in filing a complaint against Strava, please get in touch with me. It'll be fun.